Hey folks, it's Maxie here, welcome to a new TEW2020 video. You join us today for a free-air event, which is the AEW Dynamite anniversary show for 2025. Just basically not long after the Arthur Ashe show, after the Grand Slam. I always do it. I do a normal Dynamite, but I always do this as like a big event as well, just to kind of celebrate the fact Dynamite was pretty much at this time in 2019, which even in real life in 2022 is scary that was 3 years ago. So looking forward to this one. We've actually a good standard on these shows. We started off back in 2022, that was the first one I done, so the second year in the save. With a 93 with Danielson defeating Omega in the main event. We then followed it up with another Kenny Omega main event as he took on Darby Allin. That one getting 97. And then last year we went with two bitter rivals coming to an end, and that was CM Punk defeating John Cena before we had Miro and Kenny Omega getting involved. Kenny's not in the main event this year. We've made that the matchup for the AEW World Championship as Prince Devitt's back from his injury. So it's going to be Prince Devitt challenging the champion Jon Moxley for the World Championship belt. I've got people up. I know it is Dynamite and obviously we should be celebrating just that brand, but there is matches here representing Dynamite, representing Rampage and representing Carnage as well as we try and get that brand over. So without further ado, let's crack on. This is the AEW Dynamite anniversary show for 2025. So 51,000 have turned out for the Yale Bowl, so for the actual Dynamite taping we had earlier on and for the anniversary show. And we start off in the ring with the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. And he says he's delighted that Dynamites came this amount of time. Remember, in this universe, Cody Rhodes never left to go to WWE. He says it's fantastic to continue to be a part of a thriving AEW product. He says he's really delighted with what's happening with Carnage and he's looking forward to taking that brand on. He's also really happy with the acquisition of Impact, and he says you're going to see a lot of great wrestling there, a lot of great up-and-comers in Impact, and it's going to be an opportunity for them to develop there before they come to AEW. So he's basically promoting my next show, which is obviously going to be Victory Road, when I start to figure out what I'm going to be doing with Impact. And then I've got the 4 tapings in one night. And then I'll put together my Bound for Glory card, which might even be the next episode after that, because I think that might be... I'm going to see how I order it between that and the horror show, but both are going to be that weekend at the end of the month. I don't know if I'm going to go with the AEW event on the Saturday and the Impact on the Sunday, or vice versa, so we won't know that until the video goes out. So basically Cody's promoting Victory Road coming up this weekend. CM Punk comes out and just says, oh great, more people coming in, try to take my spot, try to take TV time away from me, try to take my money away from me. And Cody Rhodes just says, that's all it's been, Phil. You're just bitter, you're just scared when somebody comes in to try and take your spot. It's all fine and good when you're chasing that top spot and you're fighting against the system, but when somebody comes back at you, hungrier, younger, fitter, then that's when you start to worry. They get a bit antsy, and actually it leads into our opening contest of the evening. So a cheap 100 rating. Obviously I can only utilise CM Punk and Bryan Danielson at these events. So of course you've got both in action with the American Dragon to follow later on tonight. But we had a fantastic match here, great, fantastic heat, good wrestling, and had Cody defeat Punk in 9:29 with the Crossroads. So as you can tell, with the 76 segment rating, with the less than 10-minute match, CM Punk is done physically. He is completely gone. He only musters a 71 performance. He's got fantastic overness. If I can convince him to retire, I probably would, just to get him as a mouthpiece. But yeah, this is we're in a real interesting period where he's done. Bryan's on the way to being done. Obviously, Edge is done, so I really need to start transitioning these people. AJ Styles, we know, is done. Nakamura is completely done as well, finished at a high level. So it's really going to be start bringing through that next guard before the likes of Omega and Moxley, etc., go the same way. We need people to step up. But CM Punk loses to Cody Rhodes. So we pop boost to Cody because he have lost a few points losing. It's an absolute Ricky Starks. We then had the matchup for the Shine Championship. It was former champion Serena Deeb challenging Elena Black. With about a year they had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd as Elena Black defeated Serena Deeb in 12:44 with an undertook DDT. It was her second defence of the Shine title. I felt like it was good to get her a really high profile match up on a live event, and Serena was always going to be a fantastic opponent. I feel Elena may be pop capped at 70, which is a bit of a shame. But as I say, she's still young enough, we can develop her skills. And maybe the lack of overness won't be hampered by fantastic in-ring skill if we can continue to develop those attributes. And then after the match, she celebrates her victory, but the recently turned heel Rampage member Dakota comes in and she beats the living hell out of Elena Black, basically setting up her next feud for the Shine Championship. So this is our Rampage version of the TBS Championship, with that belt of course being on Dynamite, held by Kairi Hojo. So 75 there. We then had a fatal 4-way matchup, with the winners becoming the number 1 contenders to the AEW World Tag Team Championships. They'll get a shot down the line. And in a bout we had some great wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd as the Acclaim defeat the Young Bucks, the Cult of Lucha and FTR in 14-11 when Max Caster pinned El Hijo del Vikingo. So absolutely class to give them their big win. Obviously the weakest performance here, they're still getting over. They don't obviously have the technical attributes of the other 3 teams here, but it's good to get the Acclaimed an opportunity. They actually recently in game just turned babyface. They were teamed up alongside Carmelo Casanova, of course Carmelo Hayes as you know him in WWE, as they challenged for the Trios Championships, but they lost, and then they just turned on him because he was acting like a prick basically, and they beat him down to turn babyface. So they've babyface number 1 contenders. 86 for the matchup. They 3 are obviously going to carry it. They're just spectacular. And that's good that they're going to tag team specialists, but it's now Penta and Hijo del Vikingo, because obviously it would have been Rey Fenix had he not like completely broken this save. But very good matchup. Best match of the Acclaim's careers. Then the promo with the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, and he just basically says he'd put out on social media, AEW obviously has a lot of championship belts, but we also have this relationship with New Japan, which allows us to have the IWGP US Championship defended on US soil. So he's challenging Darby Allin. He says he has to pick and choose his matches, not as often as he used to do. So he's like, yep, let's do this. Darby Allin, Bryan Danielson, he wants that New Japan Championship. So an 85 promo from Bryan. And despite the fact he's limited in what he can work, he only works events, I couldn't get him to go anything less. He had a bout that had superb wrestling and great heat as Darby Allin defeats Bryan Danielson in 1917 with a coffin drop, giving him his 4th defence of the IWGP US title. 91. Stellar stuff. I thought I could rely on Bryan to do that. He still has skills. As I say, it's just a case his body's fairly broken down now. So pick and choose his matches so I can maybe get a bit more longevity out of him. And yeah, that's going to only boost Darby going forward. We then moved on to the matchup for the vacant AEW Evolve Tag Team Championship. So that's your tag team belts that are on the Carnage brand. And it was a decent matchup with the Regal brothers, who are 2 generated wrestlers who I just kind of looked at and just went, their names had both generated them as a surname Regal. And I went, let's just make them our version of the Dudley Boys then. So the Regal brothers defeat Drew Gulak and Timothy Thatcher, both members previously in Ring Camp, before obviously Walter went his different way with obviously Gulak and Thatcher coming to Carnage to be kind of player coaches. And the win was in 11:26 when Gabriel Regal pinned Timothy Thatcher with a 5-star leg drop. So new Evolve Tag Team Champions and a 63 rated segment. They also have now a Tag Team Specialist bonus. I don't think we'll ever see an individual Carnage promo. Promo pay-per-view. I feel like if we'd done an event for Carnage on its own, even as a showcase, it probably would be like December to Dismember. We'll see, maybe down the line, but I just don't see it doing very well unless Cody carries it. We then had the matchup for the AEW Women's World title. Got to make it a big show, it's an anniversary special. So with one half of the tag champs, Anna Jay, challenging in this one. And it was about that had great heat and good wrestling as Mercedes defeated Anna in 12:35 with a bank statement, giving Mercedes her 5th defence of the Women's World title. Good stuff here in 82, you can't really complain too much at that one. Storytelling match as well, so that probably put it down a point or 2. But delighted with that one. Anna's like 2 points of psychology away from like carrying matches because she done so well under the tutelage of QT Marshall, and he obviously, I don't know if it's a case where they get to a certain age where they stop like giving like those kind of mentorship points over. So I've noticed that the same with Daniel Garcia doesn't get any psychology now from Brian, but we'll see how that works out. But in this case, I say Anna Jay. Yeah, unlucky. However, after the matchup, she gets a heat back as her and Britt Baker beat down Mercedes. So I'm probably at one point going to do Mercedes versus Britt. But obviously we'll need another woman there to even up the odds. But obviously I'm going to keep the belts on Anna Jay and Britt Baker for a wee bit longer. But hopefully that gives them a wee boost to overness and an 83 for their segment rating. We then had a little open challenge issued. It was Brody King and Malachi Black, the Kings of the Black Throne, just saying they will take on anyone who wants to challenge them for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. They feel they are invincible. They've not lost in God knows how long. So we saw Adam Page and Kenny Omega, who are on good books. They've been teaming up a lot to take on Ospreay, Walter, MJF, etc. So they're going to go and challenge for the Tag Team Championship belts. I expect this to be a banger, that's why I'm scared to click it. I thought it'd be a bit better. But they had superb wrestling anyway, and great heat as the Kings of the Black Throne defeat Adam Page and Kenny Omega in 14:51 when Malachi pinned Hangman after a black mass. Their third defence of the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Because of the great chemistry between Hangman and Kenny gets boosted to 98. So the 84 might have been because we tried to make it steal the show. If we'd have maybe made it 18 minutes, 19 minutes without that, it could have been even better. I was hoping they'd produce a banger. It's still decent, but I feel it could have been better. And we need to look at fixing the character of Hangman. So I'll need to remember that one if I can note that down. My notepad, as always, is the wrong way facing when you conveniently need it. I'm one of the ones that still uses a notepad. Although sometimes I use Word to keep my notes and what I need to book, etc. But yeah, pretty good. It keeps the reign of them very, very strong. And I can start to have Hangman kind of doubting himself, which obviously is true to the real life character. With a debut, we have acquired Woods from WWE. So the band is back together. Bizarrely enough, I hadn't used Kofi or E since December. So they've just sat in the sidelines doing nothing. But I suppose I've wasted them and I've wasted the Usos. That's the reality of it. But in this one, they both look good. Kofi underperformed. And the fun babyface gimmick, very good for Woods. They're actually going to challenge for the Trios Championship in your co-main event, and that's a 73. So naturally, decent matchup as E, Kofi and Woods defeat Santos Fantasma, Barbario Cavanaro and Raul Mendoza in 12:47 when Woods pinned Mendoza with a TKO, meaning that E, Kofi and Woods are the new Lucha Underground Trios champions. So 71. I think at one point we'll probably ditch the Lucha Underground part, because obviously we have AEW Trios Championships now. But I think the plan going forward, they say the New Day, we'll give them a new name and we'll see what we can do with them. But the plan is to probably move Fantasma and Mendoza into a tag team and let Barbario Cavanaro thrive as a singles competitor, probably in the Zero X division. Or I could even put them to Impact and actually put them in the actual X division. That's an option now. And after it they celebrate, which is a 74. Kofi underperformed, but they are good. And our main event, Prince Devitt versus Jon Moxley. Will the styles clash? That's still pretty handy, because I don't think I've done particularly great with Finn. He's been a very, very welcoming and putting people over, so that's obviously hampered his overness, so delighted with that one. But they had superb wrestling and great heat. Moxley defeats Prince Devitt in 1942 with the Death Rider. Moxley makes defence number 4 of the AEW World Championship. So 86, Moxley with an 85, Devitt with a 79. And after the show, Moxley gets fired through a table by Big Walter. He wants that championship belt. Nothing is going to stop him getting that championship belt. He is completely a man on a mission. We're likely to see that matchup at Halloween Horror Show. So I would already say it may be gimmicked. I don't know what kind of stipulation. But your Halloween Horror Show for the AEW side is going to feature Jon Moxley defending the World Championship against Walter. and the Kings of the Black Throne defending the AEW Tag Team Championships against the Acclaimed. The show itself does a 95, which is ideal. Thank you, boosts and matches that were very good at the start, but still, 86 is pretty solid. Probably a stronger start to the show than later on, but overall, something fantastic. So what I'm going to do is, I'm quickly just going to hit the wee pause button. We'll go have a look at the calendar and see what shows we've got upcoming in the next few weeks. And while we're hit with big news right off the bat, John Cena to retire in 3 months. So considering that we are the 3rd week of October, which would mean the 1st week of October, sorry, that would mean he's going to retire in the 1st week of January 2026, that John Cena will be no more. And he doesn't want to re-sign with us in any capacity, so that's not going to happen. Dynamite show was an absolute success, which is good to see. And you can see here, we are battling to keep a hold of Barbario Cavanero. So we've got Takahashi. I took away his loyalty, so he is in. We're going to have to look at extending contracts for Mina Obna, Honor Brook as well. Tangle was if I got in Tamatonga as well. But I think we've got enough teams, I don't need to worry about the Gorillas of Destiny. 31.44 for the TV. BJ Whitmer says that Vikingo is going to be a star. And Anna J's offering opinions now. And she says that Vikingo is going to be a star. So she is truly over. You can see that, but I talked about the psychology of the 77. Obviously, QT Marshall done wonders with that one, but her overness is pretty good. She's pretty over. And of course, in terms of titles, she has been a 2-time Women's World Tag Team Champion. And because she was, because with her handshake deal, she was also working for Impact. So she's had 2 runs as Tag Champ and Knockouts Champ as well, in her runs with Impact. So she's doing pretty well, to be fair. Viewing figures, that's the Dynamite figure was a 31, so the anniversary show was a 33.28. Attendance was hurt by the lack of big names, but I can't put everybody on the show. You know what I mean, or it'd be overkill. But really with some like MJF, Ospreay, a few others. These things happen. Anyway, that's not what we're here for. We're here for the schedule. So you can see their 4th week on the Saturday is the Halloween Horror Show, so that's our next AEW show. And if we switch over to Don Callis, they have... we're fine. So basically, Victory Road will be my next event. Then it'll be Bound for Glory because it's the 3rd week on the Saturday. So we're going to have 2 Impact shows back to back. And then we'll have that basically, the Halloween Horror Show. The week after that. I'm still going to stick to weekly events. It's just going to give me more time to book and play the game because obviously Impact will take a bit of time. The TV tape tends to be in the 2nd week of September, so I'm going into Victory Road blind. It'll be basically a creme de la creme card basically. And then we'll have 4 weeks of television tapings in one night to book towards that show there. So technically that'll be airing before half of them air, but you know what I mean, we'll work it that way anyway. So the only thing I'm worried about is we probably won't have a championship match at Impact Victory Road, so I may as well give you a wee kind of preview what we've got on Impact. So we're going with Chelsea Green as a Knockouts champion. We have Tessa Blanchard, yikes, and Alex Gracia as a Knockouts tag. We've got a vacant World Championship, so that's good. The Authors of Pain are the tag team champions, and the X Division champion is Eddie Edwards. But there's a lot here that are either already were signed in the form of like give me somebody that was already signed to make my point. I've put that many people with them. AC Romero, right? That's the first person I could see was already signed. A lot of these people have been sent down, like 10. And then there's people I've just brought in just to have cool matches, like Adam Brooks is in. AJ Styles is going to be part of a 3-man booth in the commentary I've brought in, because this was how long ago this was. Tom Phillips I signed. He'll be assisted by Caprice Coleman, and then alongside them will be AJ Styles. What an announce booth. But you can see the kind of names we've got here. A lot of old faces, but then I brought in the Guns again, they came down. Brought in Biff Buzak, Ben Carter's down. B. Priestley will be down as well. Obviously I'll rename him, but even Dolph Ziggler just to play as like a player coach. And then as you go further down, brought back obviously Josh Alexander, brought in Jonah. Shane Haste is going to team up with Adam Brooks, I believe. I think that's the plan. I put Roddy Strong down. Rina Yamashita is going to be down here as well. She's back from her long rehab stint. So yeah, a lot of people here that I'm looking forward to using, and then there'll be people we'll just let go as well that won't be part. This was a new gen, Rey Mysterio 4. We actually had him in our development system when he entered the wrestling business, and he signed a written contract to go to Impact, so we lost him. It was the first bit. I thought I'd comfortably secured these services, but they paid more. But the reality is with him, it's another Rey Mysterio kid, despite the fact we have Dominic on our books. And I don't think we put Dominic down. He's still got to debut on Carnage. We have Dominic, he's signed, so I just need to move Rey to Carnage, and we can have that father-son tag team and actually try and develop him. So that's what we've got to look forward to the next two videos then. Next to our Impact, then after that we're back with the Halloween Horror Show, and then we move on to Full Gear. So cheers for watching, hope you enjoyed the rest of your day, and check out the Fan Speaker subreddit and the Grey Dog Software forums, and until next time I will see you later. Good day and good night. Bye bye.